I didn't think we were gonna get a filler episode for Mortal Hunters, but surprise, we did. The episode I'm talking about is episode 7 Roots. And this is the first filler episode of the season. And I actually really enjoyed this one. It's longer than the other episodes for by a good few minutes. It's about 25 minutes, a good half hour. And it's a Jag centered episode. Jag is played by Haley Isbell. If y'all remember my previous videos, uh, me going over it, I talked about in my last one that Jag is probably my new favorite character, along with Bull. But this one is more focused on her, and I really like that. So I'm not going to waste too much time. I'll get straight into it. So the episode opens up with a little girl hiking through the woods. She reaches a cabin of unknown origin or unknown location, meets a man that goes by Uncle, played by Roberto Rueda. I think I said that right. Berto, I'm sure you'll watch this video of me and correct me. Uh, first off, uh, First off, the acting is really solid in this one. A few line reads were kind of jank, but it was far less noticeable than previous episodes. And basically, the little girl who is named Fawn by Uncle is now under his care. I'm assuming this is like a mentor mentee ship, mentor mentee relationship. We cut away from that into Jag returning home to treat her wounds from the previous episode. And we get a pretty gnarly scene of her stitching herself up. The makeup is really well done. Uh, she has like bruising, a cut here above her eye, and there's bruising. It's pretty solid actually. Really enjoyed that part. And the next morning, Jag makes breakfast, and her dad wakes up. We kind of established that this is her family. This is her family home, and it's revealed that her dad was a hunter, a former hunter that either retired or something. I'm going to assume retired due to something I'll get into in a second. Uh, Taught her everything she knows, how to research, how to prepare for stuff. Fix my camera a bit. There we go. And what was I? Where was I? Okay, yeah. Her dad is very worried about her, as any father should. It's revealed that he also has shaking hands. I think due to a illness that we don't know of, or because of a traumatic event. I'll go over in a second on theories and questions I have. And obviously, he takes medication to monitor it. He tries, fails, throws it away. It's one of those characteristics that they don't want help despite their illness. They want to show that they're still there. Pardon me. We cut back to after that scene. We cut back to Fawn and Uncle doing training drills. Apparently, one of the training drills is that she's supposed to keep a item away from Uncle instead of fighting. Turns out she stands and fights, loses very royally, and Uncle explains that you cannot just stand and fight. You gotta be You gotta be smart about it. And it's clear that Fawn has a lot of resolve. Oh, why am I yawning? Has a lot of resolve and determination. She wants to do this. I'm assuming Uncle is a teacher of hunters or something like that. Either he's a former hunter or is a hunter that is currently not involved in the current story. And after this little sequence, we cut back to Jag and her dad arguing about the nature of the job. In the previous episode, she had to team up with Bull to take care of a third party duo who captured Prairie Dog as well. And her dad expresses the fact that her teaming up is not a good thing because of how the job, how this life treats everybody. It reminds me a bit of how in Supernatural, if you're a hunter, you don't get out. You either die or you just keep going. There is no beneficial to this. So they argue, and then they kind of they start deciphering stuff. She brings her notes, and they start deciphering the fact that the artifacts show up in areas that had earthquakes that were small, unreported, or unknown. And you could find the patterns and follow their, like, as if it was a signal being broadcasted about this. I'll ask it. I got a question for that in a second. They find an inscription. They decipher an inscription. It says that reads as a quote, "When the sky cries fire, the king of the sun shall rise and grant liberty forever." Whatever that means big. I'm going to get into that in a second, based on the theory section of this all. Jag wants to leave because I think she figured out something of what it means, but her dad convinces her to stay to rest up, given that she went through an ordeal already in the previous episode. It's almost as if she kind of agrees. Then we cut to Fawn and Uncle, where Uncle tells her to get her things and see if she wants to see her dad. It's revealed that goes to her dad, who is clearly injured, and then we cut again to Jag and her dad bidding farewell for as she goes off to do the rest of the job. That's how the episode ends. So, I feel like this is an obvious answer. I feel like this is an obvious question, and I have a few, and I'm going to go over it. Is Fawn and Jag the same character, where Fawn is Jag younger? Is this a flashback for characterization? If it is, pretty well done. I think it's obvious that this is a flashback, that Fawn is Jag younger, and how she got into the life of a hunter. So, who is Uncle? That's my other question. Who is Uncle? I kind of said earlier that he might be a hunter or a teacher of hunters. I think he's a hunter that is off the grid, that takes random jobs but keeps to himself. He's kind of well off. He lives in secluded cabins to hide. Either too many enemies or just that he was just that in deep with the life. So, who is he? And do we see more of him? I want to see more of this guy because he is very interesting. And now back to the earthquake stuff. If it's sending out a signal, does that mean that the miracle box finds that signal and tracks it? My original theory was that it has a piece of a tablet to track it. But what if instead of that, it's more scientific than that? What if it's simpler than that? What if it reads seismic changes in the environment, where possible fault lines happen? Will it come back to be used again. What is it more scientific than what I originally thought of? I kind of hope so, because you don't introduce something like that and then have it be shot out of its hand and presumably destroyed. So, not next up. What was I going to say? Oh, the inscription. When the sky cries fire, the King of the Sun shall rise and grant liberty forever. I don't know what this means. I don't know if it actually is mythology. Like, there is an actual mythological equivalent to this. The only thing that I'm kind of thinking about is the end times. King of the Sun could mean anything. Either the literal deity of the sun, like Ra, Helios, Apollo, stuff like that, or is it another term for God? Is King of the Sun? Does the sun mean the heavens? Does it mean the skies? What does that mean? And shall rise and grant liberty forever. Is that a way to say paradise? Shall grant paradise to all, as said by Jesus to St. Dismas while they were crucified. Is this a allegory or a type of translation of biblical texts, or is it its own mythology for this series? I don't know. I'd like to think that there is a bit more of a biblical equivalent to it. My original theory was that the tablets were a map or inscription that leads to the Holy Grail or the Gates of Babylon. What if it isn't? I'm going to kind of go nuts for a sec. What if it's equivalent to a tablet from Supernatural, the angel tablet, demon tablet, whatever, that only prophets can read? What if they're doing what if Mortal Hunters is doing something similar to that? And the tablet, if brought together, gives you the instructions to the stairway to heaven. No, it was not a Led Zeppelin pun. I just realized that. But what if it's a map or inscription to heaven itself? I like to think that it kind of is, because of how this inscription was written. This could be total BS, and I'm just blown out of proportion. Anyone who wants to talk about it in the comments, please let me know, and I'd be willing to look at that. But I really like this episode because it gives Jag a lot more screen time for us to get to know her as a character. We can see that she is a character that is very determined, has a lot of resolve, and she's willing to do things to get her goals done, because that's how she was raised. She was raised to be smart, efficient. And I like that we get to see that as a character. We get to see more of her, how she brought... this assuming Fawn is Jag younger, and this was a flashback character study. I'm going to go with the presumption that it is. So, Matt or more pictures, if y'all confirm or deny that, feel free to. I'm going to go with the presumption that it is, because it is very obvious with it. But I really like this episode. I'm a big fan of character study episodes like this. One of the reasons why Vinland Saga Season 2 is one of my favorite seasons in an anime, because it was a big character study of Thorfinn. Episodes like this I adore. We get a lot of great screen time with characters, and the acting is very solid. Again, there were some line reads that weren't all there. but for the most part, I genuinely thought this was well done. But there was a kind of there was a bit of a I have a bit of a nitpick here. There was a sequence in the episode where Jag and her father are arguing about the nature of the job and her uneasy alliance with Bull. When it's on the camera with her dad, it is so unfocused that it was obvious. It was focusing on the wall behind him, not on him. And it was very jarring and kind of distracting. I had to do a double take just to make sure I wasn't going nuts because it is kind of late. So, but yeah, the camera focus was way off in that sequence. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't think it is. I don't think it was. I don't know. But overall, this was a really solid episode. It's not my favorite one. It's not, I don't think it's the best episode yet. Those episodes go to 6 and 3 in my opinion. But I think this is number 3. If I were to make like a top 3, this is number 3. Episode 6 I think is number 1 actually, and episode 3 is number 2 spot. I said that out of order. I know. Don't forget it. I don't know what the next episode will entail because there isn't a post-credit scene to showcase anything. And there's no clear indication of what the next episode will entail, which I'm kind of a fan of because it gives me time to think about it. And it makes the surprise even better. So, what else do I want to say? I don't really have anything else to say for this episode. It's pretty straightforward, where there's a lot of information, but it's not a lot to get you confused. It's pretty straightforward of what this was. This was a character study episode for Jag and how she holds herself as a character. And I do like it. I do like it a lot. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got some more lore for it. But yeah, let me know if I'm cooking something with the heaven theory or whatever. I feel like I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. But time will tell, and I can't wait to see more of it. I know as of recording this video, I will be releasing this one a bit later than usual. If y'all saw my community post, I've been busy working other personal stuff. But I'm going to try and make it a bit more consistent. So this one hopefully gets released by midnight, Thursday morning, midnight, or sometime during Thursday. If processing takes forever, I'll schedule it for like maybe 2 in the morning or something like that. At least some sort of hour to let it build up steam. And then this coming Saturday will be episode 8. And I'll be sure to do a video on that one. But yeah, if y'all want to talk about this episode in the comments down below, please let me know. And I'd be more than fun with it talking to you guys. Moral Hunters, thank you guys. This was a great episode. Matt did a good job with the script on this one. I think this was the best script one. Again, let me know if I'm kind of cooking something with the theories. Don't confirm nor deny, but it'd be fun. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys here. Hope y'all have a great night, morning, afternoon, whatever you guys watch this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.